Hello, I am Mudita, and welcome back to Satisfactory. Update 1.2 has drawn me back in. The new vehicle pathing and even the fluid truck has me excited to try a number of new things this time around. Another thing that is going to make this very different are the new game modes added in 1.2. As the title says, this save is going to have random node placement and random node purity. This is going to be an exciting change, and I have no idea where to put anything. They've also added a few more settings in here. These can either make the game easier or much harder. I can change the power cost down to a quarter of the original or up to 5 times what we're used to. Similar with the recipe cost, I can change it down to a quarter all the way up to making every recipe cost twice as much. And then lastly, with the space elevator parts, I can cut it down to a quarter or as much as 100 times the default. Even though it is tempting to crank everything up to max and just see how I do, I'm just going to do 2 out of the 3. We'll leave the recipe cost multiplier at default, the space elevator cost is going to be 100 times, and the power consumption is going to be 5 times. How hard could it be? Those of you that have seen my videos in the past won't be surprised. This will be another playthrough with 0 manifolds. In factories anyways. More on that later. Back in the grassy fields. I felt like this was really just the perfect biome, especially for the random nodes with the random purity, because in the past, that was kind of the biggest complaint about the grassy fields, is there's a lot of nodes. They're pretty much all impure, maybe a couple normal. Now I have the benefit of having all of these nodes, and who knows what they are. So let's take a quick look. Right ahead, so we've got coal right in the middle of the grassy fields, and I think that's Caterium. That's interesting. I think that's some iron. SAM and crude oil in the middle of the grassy fields. This is wild. Let's scan over here. Copper and some more coal. Like some iron. Can't quite see what's over there. More crude oil, limestone, iron. This is not looking too bad. And then right over here, you got another good grouping of nodes. Oh, this looks nice. Got copper, limestone, quartz, iron, SAM, and limestone. Got pretty much everything I need to start right here. This looks fantastic. Alright, so let's just grab everything on the way over there.
Potential edible collected. If consumed before authorized.
Well, unfortunately, that one's impure, but really, that's not that big of a deal. Normal quartz, not bad. Pure limestone, awesome. And a pure copper, perfect. Really only need 1 copper node in the beginning of the game. Alright, so let's just start with throwing down a bunch of these. And let's get our hub. Let's take a look. Normally, I would just kind of go through the list, but with this playthrough, I think I want to be a little bit more picky. And I think I want to get the solid biofuel and the chainsaw just right off the bat. I think you're going to see why in just a second. So with those going, I can still build a couple machines, so not a lot. But let's go ahead and build a smelter. This right here is crazy. I realize this is very basic math. I knew very well that both smelters and constructors use 4 megawatts, but actually seeing that each one needs 20 now, oh boy. And unfortunately, these, right off the bat, only put out 20. So, I guess things are at least easy in this sense. We should just group these together. What am I doing? Alright, so we'll just get some leaves going for now. And let's get this ore smelting. We're also going to need an equipment workshop. I would like a few more portable miners. Eventually, we're definitely going to need some limestone, so might as well put a couple on there. And let's see, same thing with the copper. I need that cable. And the quartz is just here, so might as well throw a couple down there. And now it begins. So much manual crafting ahead of me. Alright, so I've got everything ready and we can turn in this first milestone. Just gonna switch that over. This one's working on some copper. Rearrange things just ever so slightly so it's a little bit easier to run in and out of here. Let's get this obstacle clearing done. Alright, so with that one done, I think we should start working on the really basic ones. But this is going to help out with the power, because these things are so power hungry. I switched these over to biomass, but now I can turn it into solid biofuel. And I think that's just going to be worth just taking care of now. Not to mention, now I can make a chainsaw. Well, once I do a little bit more manual crafting. Ah, yes. Gotta love the chainsaw. I have a feeling I'm gonna use it a lot. Gotta collect a few more leaves first. Now I can run the chainsaw. Before I go run around, I'm gonna go grab everything out of here. Top off my smelters. Now, let's start the deforestation. There's a good chance grassy fields are gonna look very bare by the time I'm done with it. The night is over, and I've rearranged things just a little bit again. But I got rid of my 2 smelters. Things are gonna move around a lot. And I added some more biomass burners, because these output 30 megawatts instead of the 20. So if I'm gonna put biomass in anything, I'd rather it be these ones. So I'm just not even gonna bother fueling those. And for right now, we're just gonna have these out here. And so now we're just crafting up the solid biofuel. So take that out. And now I've got the smelters over here. And just one little guy. I don't know how he gets up there. Maybe the smelter is warm. Now let's go ahead and turn in the base building.
Milestone reached. Several new structures are now available for improving factory organization. Foundations provide a building grid, which makes it easier to manage placement of any structure. In the event that you are experiencing amnesia for all events prior to planetfall, be reassured that memories of beloved humans and/or animals would have only been distractions from your important mission.
I think a lot of my struggles this playthrough are going to be with power, so that is the first thing I need to kind of sort out before I can even think to actually automate anything else. So let me transition that to up here. Hey, I like when you bring me bombs. That's cool. Okay, so it's just getting started, but I realized that things were going to be a little bit easier if I turned in the next milestone. Because the next one is logistics. And right now I want to keep things as simple as possible and the fewest machines that I need. So that means I need a merger.
Milestone reached. Conveyor belts can now merge, split, and lift to save space and enhance the productivity of your factory. Fixit encourages you to consider investing in verticality when it comes to factory logistics.
You heard it here first. He said embrace verticality. Just remember that for the next episode. I set these up almost the exact same way every time just because it's just easy for me to remember this way. So coming from this way, where I would come in and input things, leaves are on the left, and then the wood is on the right. Just because leaves on the left is nice alliteration and it helps me remember. And let's go ahead and place the merger. So I want both of these to just merge up, and that way I can just have one constructor over here, and then we're going to change this one to the solid biofuel. And that way this machine should basically stay on, whether it's only wood that I have or only leaves or however it ends up working out. And really, these machines are just so expensive to run, and I don't have underclocking unlocked yet. So I want to keep things as simple as possible, and just one constructor for the solid biomass. I've already tried, but you have to actually unlock the daisy chaining. Fair enough. I've got the container for the solid biomass when that inevitably backs up. But I do get to at least automate feeding these. Oh, of course you're in the way. Thanks, buddy. Oh, and now I need some more iron plates. Back to manual crafting. It's never long before I need more parts. Solid biomass is automated. Just not very efficiently because I need to be able to underclock these and get some faster builds. Alright, so real quick breakdown on how I'm going to do this. One constructor running at 100% will output 60 solid biomass per minute. Feeding that into the biomass generators, you can feed 15, which would give you 450 megawatts. But that would also mean that I would need to have that running at 100% all the time, and I can never let it run out. So instead of running on 15, just because then I have no wiggle room whatsoever, I'm going to plan this to only place 12. The added benefit is it makes the belt work easier. I don't have to deal with any 5-way splits. I'm just going to do 3 4-way splits. So for right now, we're just going to start with these 4. So let's go ahead and send those into here. So excited. Oh, plates. I can always use more plates. Now we have a capacity of 180. I can run a whole 9 machines now, including these 3. Well, it's a step in the right direction. I think I'm going to go ahead and just expand this a little bit more. We're going to add the next set of 4. Well, after a little bit more manual crafting. And then this will be able to plug into this set of 4. And then eventually I'll add the last set and, well, we'll have to get a little bit more creative with that belt. Alright, now I've got 8 of them. So just right here is 300. I still have 2 over here. So I'll probably end up getting rid of those. But for right now, we'll just leave them all connected. Having more of them connected just means that you burn through the fuel in each one of them a little bit slower. Now, if we look at the power graph, well, consumption's all over the place still, but now I've got a capacity of 300. So now I can finally start doing some actual automation with these. I feel like the first one I should do is iron plates. So we're going to go ahead and do that one. I'm going to try to remember to use my flashlight when I can, but I don't have mods yet, so unfortunately we're going to have to deal with the nighttime for just a few episodes probably. Alright, so setting up iron plates, pretty easy. We just need 1 smelter, and that is going to feed into 1 constructor. So let's go ahead and work our way back. We just leave this at 100%, things work out pretty nicely. 20 iron plates needs 30 ingots. At default, this is just 30 becomes 30. And since this is an impure node, this outputs 30. I'd help if I put a belt there and maybe somewhere for all these to go. Guess we'll let it make some plates first. Out of curiosity, so what does this take? 25 megawatts. Ooh. We're already up to 85.4. It's not too bad, but man, there's so few machines. This is crazy. Finally, some completely hands-off automation. That feels good. Next up, concrete. I thought it was better just to skip through the night. So welcome to the new day, and we've got some concrete automated. Still, not very efficient. I really need that MAM. The miner outputs 120, but unfortunately, I've only got Mark 1 belts. So these are only getting 30 out of the 45 needed, so I'm even surprised it says 82. Yeah, that's going to keep dropping. That's alright. At least we have some concrete automated, and that's just heading into the storage container right next to my iron plates just to make things a little bit easier. Next, I want to do the iron rods. I'm going to use that copper node for the wire and the cables, but I think rods are more important. So next closest iron node is right over here. We can just do another just simple setup, because we really need to just keep everything as small as possible. Let's go ahead and put the miner there. And then we're just gonna put one smelter next to it. Even though this is a normal node, I'm not gonna actually use very much. Because really, I just need one constructor. 15 rounds per minute, that should be fine for right now. Which means I only need half of that, so I'm gonna be able to underclock this by quite a bit. But for now, this will get me some iron rods. And the rods are automated. Let's take a look at our power. Oh wow, we spike up to 235. Whew. Okay, so doesn't look like I can add a whole lot more. Well, I think it's time to turn in the field research because that'll give me the MAM. Let me go harvest a little bit more biomass and craft up some wire and screws. And we'll turn that in. I've got my wire. Let's get the MAM. I got a little bit carried away while we were gone. And I went ahead and added the third group of 4 biomass burners. And so now, as you can see, the first 4 are all completely full, but these ones are still receiving some more. Never feels like it's very long before I need to go get more biomass. So I'm probably gonna have to do that soon. And because I needed the wire, I just didn't want to handcraft more. This is a pure node, but I can only get 60 out of here, and really I only need 30. I've got 2 constructors making wire. One of them just goes straight into a container. The other one goes into a constructor. That one's running at 50% right now. But there, I've got my cable automated. And if we take a look at the power, it's definitely all over the place. But we haven't tripped the breaker yet. As long as I stay on top of the biomass, we're looking good. Well, I could build the MAM if I had more reinforced iron plates. Now I can place the MAM. Right now, power slugs are the most important, but it's not even that. I need this one. I know there's one right above my factory, and I could just build up to that one. But there's also this one over here, and I needed to collect a little bit more biomass. Yeah, including you. It is just so weird seeing Sam just right out in the open. And crude oil just in the middle of the grassy fields. This is so weird to get used to. I have to admit, it is a fun way to switch things up. Because now I'm thinking, how in the world am I going to handle this? There's just no water nearby. Well, that is definitely a problem for future me. Got my 1 blue power slug that I needed. Now let's turn in underclocking. That's really what I'm going to use way more in this playthrough.
Overclocking development completed. Power shards can now be inserted into all buildings to increase input and output speed. Underclocking is also possible. Note, power consumption of overclocked buildings increases exponentially.
Oh, forgot hitting enter does that. Sorry, Ada. But I do know what this does. Alright, so that's going to stay at 100%. Those are both at 100%. This one is only 50%. There we go. Let's see. These are all 30 divided by 45 times 100. There we go. That 10. That's easier. Okay. And these are all at 100%. Let's see, which other ones can we underclock and make a little bit more efficient? Still a little all over the place. Alright, so this one can only receive 60 per minute. Cut that in half. This one can only output 60. So let's just put output of 60. And then the last one, this one can be at 50% because it can only receive 60. Alright, so now those... Oh, almost forgot the iron rods. Alright, let's work backwards. So this one, yeah, 100% needs 15. And then that means we can underclock this one to 15. There we go. Alright, there we go. That's a little bit better. That's kind of to be expected. Not all the machines are going to be able to run. Or like the biomass is going to back up and that sort of a thing. So once I get faster belts, I can actually probably smooth this out even more. But I like the way this looks a lot better. But of course, this whole thing is hungry. And now I need to go get even more biomass. Ooh, electromagnetic control rods. I think I'll just put those in here for now. I'm completely done with tier 1. For tier 2, I just need a few iron plates and I can turn in the part assembly. And that's really the main one because jump pads are fun, but they can wait. The resource sink is great, but this I am really scared of. I know that these things normally take 30 megawatts, so in this playthrough, 150 is so much right now. So I'm not in a huge rush to unlock this thing. Let's just take care of these first. What did I get for my first hard drive? Not exactly what I was looking for.
Completed. Alternative recipe selection available in the MAM.
Yeah, I think we'll just leave those in there for now. What I really want, as you can see, I did knock out the first ones with the quartz because that's obviously just right there. Now, oh, I love these things so much. Probably should have done this as soon as I unlocked the MAM. Should have just done this right away.
Blade runners unlocked. Equipped to run faster, jump with greater force, and decrease fall damage that might otherwise have lowered your value to fix it.
I know I have rods automated, but they're all the way over there. Ah, yes, back to normal. Blade runners, my beloved. Still no jetpack or parachute, though. Ooh. Soon. Oh, this is just so much nicer to be able to move around. So much easier to get around the factory with blade runners. Ah, feels good. Okay, now we can get to work. Right now, yeah, I don't really need any of those. That would be nice, but that is a lot of cable. Alright, so with this little setup, I've got all of the basics automated. Got the plates, the rods, wire and the cable, and the good old concrete. Which I did go ahead and unlock the Mark II belts. So now I'm able to put out 40 concrete per minute. The next step would be using those assemblers. I need to automate the reinforced iron plates, the rotors, and then the smart plating, which uses those two. Thankfully for both the reinforced iron plates and the rotors, I just need iron. Unfortunately, I've pretty much used most of the iron. I could use the rest of that node, but I think it'd be much easier just to find some more. So I think if we go to one of those other little hot spots of all of the nodes, we should be able to find a good amount. And I can collect some more biomass on the way. Let's see, so this one down here, I think just has one impure iron node. Got a pure coal, normal caterium, 2 pure coal. That's pretty nice. Let's go ahead and just throw down some portable miners on the caterium. That way I can start getting those unlocked soon. The other nice grouping of nodes should be right down here somewhere. Is it underneath me? Must be underneath me. Oh no, it's right here. I'm just blind.
Follow the vein to the altar and chant. The astrobiologist Dr. D.M. Mercer was the first to recognize the presence and probable nature of these alien artifacts. These chain-melted state spheres are named in his honor. Each sphere emits a unique signal. Research it in the MAM to establish locally appropriate classification and application.
And here we go. So let's just get a bird's eye view. We've got 2 iron nodes there. iron, 2 crude, and a limestone. Oh, that is just so weird to see. And then more iron and limestone. What do we have over here, actually? Oh. Coal and quartz. Interesting. Oh. Uranium in the grassy fields. Okay. Man, this playthrough is going to be wild. Alright, so this one's impure, this one's normal. Okay, so that's not bad. Let's go ahead and clear these out. And let me get some foundations placed. Now I've got some foundations to work with. Let's go ahead and start with the reinforced iron plates. And for that, we'll use this node. From here, let's just bring it over. Get everything lined up on the foundations, make things a little bit easier. So that's 60 into there. And then we'll use 2 smelters in the middle of each of these foundations. Each of these will be clocked to 100%. Then from here, we're actually going to go sideways. We're going to start with this spot. Yeah, I think right here. And I need 4 constructors. These 2 are going to be using the cast screw alternate recipe. This was already a great recipe for the beginning of the game, but in this playthrough, it is extra valuable, because normally I would need to create rods and then turn them into screws, essentially needing double the amount of constructors. So this essentially cuts out one whole step, means I can cut the amount of constructors I need in half, which for me is a big deal. In total, I need 60 screws, so each of these machines is going to output 30. And then these 2 constructors will be doing the iron plates. And for this, I need 30 in total, so these will be making 15 each. Okay, now the breakdown for the ingots isn't completely even. 45 of the ingots need to go to the plates, only 15 need to go to the screws. Each of these are outputting 30, so thankfully, this is really easy. I'm just going to set a splitter down in front of this first one. So there's 30. 15 goes into the screws. And then for the other ones, we're just going to take a merger, have it pointing out to the side. That's 15. There's 30. So there is the 45 for the iron plates. Alright, so if we place an assembler, and we've got the reinforced iron plates, this is what I'm doing. Just one machine at 100%, 30 plates, 60 screws will give me 5 reinforced iron plates. But the thing is, one assembler uses 75 megawatts, and that is a lot. So instead of only placing one, I think it would be easy enough just to add 3, because that would just be one splitter for both of the inputs. And this way, it'll bring down the power requirement. Not by a ton, but right now, every little bit matters. So you would think if you just do 5 divided by 3, that should work. But you'll notice that these right here aren't exactly what they're supposed to be. So there's a number of different things you can do. Obviously, we know this one is going to be 1/3. If we do 1 divided by 3 times 100, now it's 10, 20, and the 1.667. So this is a little bit more accurate. Alright, and for this, what I like to do is just place a lift, just so I can find out just the right spot to put it in. Get them lined up, nudge this up to the top, and then it's not actually connected, so we just need to replace it. And now, when I place those, I can easily make this connection. And then I just line up the one on the bottom. And just like that, we've got the reinforced iron plates done. Now let's do the rotors. Just need to grab another Mark 1 miner. This one, we're going to angle this way. And then with this one, we're just going to overclock it to 45. Let's see, can I place the splitter that close? Ah, terrific. And we'll go with 2 smelters again. This time we need 45 divided by 2, so 22.5 for each one. We'll just merge these together because that's a little bit easier. And the next step is 4 more constructors, but I'm going to give myself a bit of room. I need to do a little bit more load balancing than with the reinforced iron plates. So again, we're using the cast screw alternate recipe for 2 of these. And these are both at 100%. I need 100 in total. And then the other 2 are making rods. 20 in total. With this one, the breakdown is a little bit trickier, but it's not hard. Out of the 45, I need 25 of them to go to the left for the screws. 20 of them will go to the right to the rods. Alright, so to do that, we're just going to start with a splitter right here. And then we're going to take the 45, and that's going to plug into here. And from here, I just need 1 more splitter. And then 2 mergers. One is going to go all the way up here. The other one is going to line up with these 2. Perfect. Alright, so what I'm going to do is split this into ninths. 45 divided by 9 is 5. So we need 4 ninths on this side and 5 ninths on this side. So here is a third, or 3 ninths. Another one, and another one. And then that one, we're going to split 3 ways again. So here is 4, and there's 5, and there's the 4. So here is our 20, and here's our 25. So again, these are going to be clocked down to 33.33%, and I'm just going to place 3 of them. But really, a lot of this playthrough is just me kind of winging it and playing it by ear. So I am sure there are going to be better ways to do a lot of this stuff. So it'll be a learning process for all of us. The reinforced iron plates and the rotors are all set up. There's just one major problem. Obviously, this is going to come down a little bit. We did some underclocking, and only one miner is a little bit overclocked. So this is definitely going to go down. But unfortunately, that is still going to be way too high to just combine with my other power grid. Right above this little factory, I've got another platform for a whole bunch of biomass burners. I am just going to repeat basically what I built over there. I'm just going to do a whole nother setup where I've got 2 storage containers. We'll do leaves on the left, wood on the right. Also go into 2 constructors, leaves in the wood, and we're just going to repeat the entire thing. So now I'm just going to get to do a whole lot of biofarming. Oh goody. While it's nighttime, let me finish putting this together, and then we'll finally get this turned on. For this one, I figured I needed the full amount of power that I could get out of this. So I went with a real setup, and I have a full 15. So we've got them load balanced in 3 sets of 5. And by having a constructor in line with both of these, that should be able to produce more than enough to be able to keep all of this full. As long as I keep feeding it more and more biomass. So it does take 54 megawatts to power those constructors, but I'm generating 450, so that's pretty good. Alright, so I'm a little bit nervous to see how this goes, but let's just find an open power pole. Not that one. There we go. Ooh, they pretty much came out at the same time. So there we go. There's rotors and the reinforced iron plates. Probably flicker once, maybe twice. But now I should have a steady 4 rotors and 5 reinforced iron plates. Now, let's check the power. Oh man. Yep, that uses up some power. Whew. This is definitely going to be a challenge. Alright, so... Okay, by underclocking them down to a third, they use 17.6. So let's see, what is it? 17.6 times 3, so 52.8 instead of the normal 75. So I saved 22.2. That's not bad. So 52.8. And let's see, what are we at? Oh, okay, so that's... Now that those are automated, let's go ahead and throw down another assembler. And for this, I'm going to automate the smart plating. Alright, so I just need to wait for a few more reinforced iron plates to be done. Give me... I'm going to belt up the inputs the same way here. But for power purposes, this is still going to be a little bit tight and interesting. But for right now, I just want to get them started. I'll figure out cranking out more later. So what I'm going to do is split this in half, because the smart plating at 100% is 2 for each. So that's what I'm going to split off. I'm going to split off 2 rotors and 2 reinforced iron plates. So 1 splitter over here. Over here, we just need to do a 5-way split, which will be easy enough. We'll just start with the merger. So we'll push those back. And then 2 splitters. So the 5 will get plugged into the merger. This will get turned into 6 because we're going to loop back one of them. So out of here will be the 3, and that's going to go to the storage container. And then these 2 right here will get grouped up, and that's going to go over to the smart plating. And here's the smart plating. Sorry I didn't show you that getting turned on. It got a little chaotic. So to try to break up the power as much as I could, because I knew if I only underclocked 3 of them, I knew I was still going to be over the 450 megawatts that my biomass burners are putting out. So I thought, well, I'll just keep placing more. So I placed 4 of them. Here is the 5-way split. The 3 just goes next to this belt, over to here, goes up some lifts, and then into my storage. And then the rotors are basically doing the same thing from all the way over here. After the merger, they just get split in half, so 2 are going to my storage container, the other 2 are going to the smart plating. I thought adding 1 more would surely be enough. Unfortunately, it was close, but I'm still over by 3.4 megawatts. And the way I solved that was I just threw a power shard in one of the biomass burners. Is that really the best way to deal with it? Probably not, no. But as I mentioned before, 1 full belt of 60 solid biomass can run 15 of the biomass burners. But right now, I've got 2 constructors. One is doing leaves, one is doing the wood, but that means that I am putting out more than the 60 per minute. And thankfully, this doesn't use that much more than 60 per minute. Thankfully, that extra 3.4 megawatts is not going to burn through that much extra solid biofuel. So even though technically they're not balanced anymore, I guess, because this one is using slightly more, the goal really is to just have all of these lines be completely full eventually anyways, because that means I don't have to worry about it for even longer. I did have to run around and grab a bunch more leaves and wood, but this will only last so long, unfortunately. But hey, we've got the smart plating going. Got a whole 33 already. I did a little bit more biomass farming, and it was time to head back over here and turn in another milestone. It's finally time to get that resource sink. 150 megawatts. Oh, it's so brutal. So for now, it's probably just going to sit there. Eventually, I'll feed it some stuff. But the other thing I really wanted to unlock is in here. I've ran into everything but a hatcher, oddly enough. And so now I can unlock this one.
Research to develop the rebar gun is now available. When completed, you will be in possession of a tool effective against any local obstacles actively objecting to the Fix-It mission.
Grassy fields is great for the bunny hopping. Crouch jump gets you across the grassy fields in no time. It's gun time.
Rebar gun and iron rebar ammo unlocked. Your ingenuity towards preservation of fix-it property has been noted. You earned a micro break. And welcome back. I hope you feel refreshed.
I do, Ada. Alright, just a few more screws. Aw, yeah. And the normal rebar is okay. It definitely has its purposes. But now what I want to do... grab some quartz. Go into the quartz tree. Ah, the good old shattered rebar. This stuff is awesome.
Shatter rebar unlocked. These quartz-infused rebars fracture when fired, launching deadly debris in a wide spread. Fix-It does not condone the use of such violent methods, so make sure there are no witnesses.
Now, if I hold down R, I can switch ammo. Let's go see if I can find somebody. Ah, perfect, a hog. So now, instead of having to zap him like 4 different times, I can get really close and shoot him once. Problem solved. It is basically a shotgun, so from at range, it doesn't really do a whole lot. It will take a whole bunch of shots if I try to shoot him from this far away. But if I get nice and close, I think these, if you're lucky, you can get him in 1. Usually it'll probably take 2. For the early game, I really like the shattered rebar. Before it's time to go all Rambo on the world, I think I should probably place down that space elevator. That is currently my one and only objective, so let's go ahead and do that. Since the smart platings are going into that container right there, I figured I might as well put this over here, and then that way I can just feed them right in. Beautiful. Look at our smart plating go. That's all that I had stored up, and now we can see they're gonna slowly make their way over here. And where are we at? 88 out of 5,000. What was I thinking? Oh man, that's... wow. That is so many smart plating. You know, it's one thing when you're in the very beginning and you see it say 100 times the space elevator requirement. But man, seeing that 50 turn into 5,000 for phase 1. Oof. Just a minor gut punch. This is going to take a little while. Only 4,910 to go, divided by the 2 a minute I'm making. Oh, just another 41 hours and this will be done. Well, I definitely don't want this to take another 41 hours. Oh, and as I look at my storage containers, still got some wood and that'll last a while, but definitely gonna need to start stocking up on the biomass. None of these are producing in high quantities, so I would really like to let these run for at least a while so that I can build up a little bit of a stockpile. It's a good thing these things don't wear out. I am getting good use out of this chainsaw. As the sun goes down, we can see I'm up to 257 smart plating already. I did some more biomass gathering and a little bit more manual crafting. Let's take a look at the MAM. Good old quartz tree. I want to get the crystal oscillator unlocked. Need my CD player.
New quartz research available.
Yeah, it wasn't really the crystal oscillators I wanted. It's the Explorer. With those 10 crafted up, let's unlock it.
This personnel transport vehicle facilitates rapid traversal of difficult terrain and climbs like a mountain goat that has returned from extinction.
Darn, I forgot it takes motors. Somehow I have 9 turbo motors, not 5 regular motors. Alright, well, I bet you I can find some. I just need to go exploring first. And nighttime seems like a good time to go exploring. What I really want to go find are more of the crash sites. So I know that there should be one out in the middle of the lake. It also means that there's going to be more of those items, which is how I have those turbo motors. So at one of those crash sites, there's going to be one there. Oh, yep, there's one here. There's another one over there. One of these, there's going to be 5 motors. And then it'll make exploring a little bit easier. I'll be able to traverse a little bit farther. It's a new day, and I've got a sweet new ride. So it's actually been about 2 hours, and some of these things have completely backed up. So for now, I am just shutting off some of these miners. So for this one, I've shut that one off, so they're just dealing with the last bits of ingots going through there. The iron I've shut off because, let's see, we're pretty much full. Close enough anyways. It just took visiting the first couple to find some motors, and then I crafted up my Explorer. Then with the Explorer, it was much easier to make my way up the coast and grab a couple more hard drive sites. And now I'm up to 453 smart plating. Almost 10%. Alright, one thing I think I'm going to do is, let's just set a platform somewhere up here. But using the same kind of methodology as before, what I want to do is just place down whole bunch of assemblers, and I'm just going to underclock them. But these are all making smart plating, but I underclock them to say 25%. This will be my temporary setup. So I am just going to have some containers over here. Finished product will get plugged into here from over there. And then these two, I'll drop off my rotors and reinforced iron plates. Yeah, I don't think I gave myself enough space. I jump in my Explorer and take a drive over to here. Let's see how much I've built up in this time. Let's see, so 425 and 577. Let's just grab all of them. With all of this basically shut off for right now because I've built up a decent enough supply of the basics, I figured let's go with 8 assemblers. Well, they're all underclocked to 25%, so hopefully the power draw isn't too crazy. So we're about to find out. And there they go. That sure does make the cycle time a little bit longer, doesn't it? Let's see. What are these machines looking like? So it's a 2-minute cycle time, but they only use 12 megawatts each. 12 times 8, so 96 instead of 2 of them at 100% would be 150. That's not too bad. Let's take a look at one of the pulls. Oh, terrific. Alright, well that will definitely help. The normal production has produced about 10% so far the smart plating I needed. Dumping 500 of each right here will give me basically another 10%. Once this is done, basically 20% of the way there. Only another 80% to go. And as you can see, there's quite a few less trees here in the grassy fields, and I am going to continue that trend right now. I'm going to run around and chop down a bunch more trees around here to get everything stocked up, and then it's going to be exploration time. With the biomass all stocked up, let's go ahead and take the Explorer, and I'm going to head all the way up to the Rocky Desert. And this right here is actually my best weapon. Thanks. And it's fantastic for sneaking up on hatchers. So you pop out on the right side of the vehicle, so I can sit right up nice and close. I can hop out, grab my gun. Well, if I did it a little bit faster, they wouldn't have popped out. And this is what exploration looks like. Well, sometimes you don't get them clean. On this trip, I'm still looking for more hard drives. I think the more hard drives and the hard drive sites that I can plunder for all of their little goodies, the earlier on in the game, the better. And immerser spheres that are convenient to get to. Like, I could definitely build all the way up to get to that immerser sphere, but honestly, some of those are just so much easier once you have the jetpack or just more tools available to you. So I am just going to kind of skip on a lot of them, and I'm going to look for the easy ones. And collecting plenty of remains. With everything being so expensive, it's going to be hard to sink lots of things, and so the more remains I can get early on, they're going to be really valuable for the tickets. And the vehicle just makes this so much easier. And I know I talk about this every time, but you can crouch all the way up to the hatchers. They won't do anything. There you go. Just one shotgun blast.
I believe this is one of those moments where the scientist would yell, "Eureka!" But that seems entirely too dramatic. It seems they are somehow organically emulating human speech. Fascinating. Continue exposing yourself to alien artifacts.
You can eventually kill these with the vehicle. Just gotta run them over a few times. Well, I am going to run around the rest of the rocky desert while it gets dark and less hard to see. And I'll show you all my spoils when I get back. I have made it back with a very full inventory. But one of the things I really wanted to collect at all those crash sites was just more free rotors and reinforced iron plates. So I'm just going to dump all of these in here. And that'll create some more smart plating for me. And let's take a look at everything else. Really need to organize my crates. But hey, up to 18 immerser spheres and 4 summer sloops and quite a few remains. Good amount of slugs. And then another container of more random stuff. 9 hard drives. So I have been working through the hard drives, so I've got all of these unlocked so far. And that's all of them. I like to just leave them in here until I actually need the recipe. That way I can get through all of the choices a little bit quicker. And now I've got 9 more hard drives saved up for the next phase. Drop off some more of the remains. This one's full, but that's because I'm using less power on this grid. Once those run out, they won't be using as much. The other one probably needs more biomass already, and I would like for it to not shut off. So we're going to continue the deforestation of the grassy fields. It is a good thing there is a lot of biomass in this biome. I think the 5x power in the desert would be a real pain. But speaking of, I think I'm going to do another trek out to the desert, do a little bit more exploring, and see if I can pick up the last easy hard drives out in the rocky desert. I only got about halfway through the rocky desert, so I know there's some more easy ones out there. It's a little bit of a drive, but really doesn't take too long with the Explorer. I am back from my second trip. This time, I picked up a whole bunch of mycelia. In total, I've got 8 summer sloops. I have gone through the beginning of this tech tree already. Haven't unlocked the new toilets, spawn points. I just unlocked the dimensional depot. But what I really want to be able to unlock is this right here. And I finally collected enough circuit boards to do it. Now, let's drop off some of this to clear up some space here. I've got some reanimated SAM and some SAM fluctuators I've made, and I think I should have enough to make the rest. I think I probably forgot to mention, but I turned off the rods because those eventually got full. And I created a similar setup for my SAM here so that I could at least have a container of the reanimated SAM. And that turned out to be really useful. We'll just let that keep working away. Finally get the power amplification. production amplification. As we can see in the top corner, I'm up to 1400. And I've got another 600 sitting right here. So that is 40% of the way there. But I think we can make this a little bit better now. But we're going to make it just a little bit smaller, I think. I deleted half of them, so now I've only got the 4. So my idea is I can have half the machines, but now with them being slooped, they're going to use more power. But now the 4 assemblers will be creating as much as the 8, but be using half of the amount of resources. Double the production essentially for the hand-fed section. I can pick up all of these, and I'll go pick up some more, but I do want to just make sure that this isn't going to trip my power grid. Here we go. Now the summer sloops start kicking in. Didn't all shut off. Hey, not bad. Okay, so we're up to 201 out of the 360. Terrific. Let's give me another nice little boost. That should help out quite a bit. The double production is really nice. And it's only because I was able to find enough steel pipes and circuit boards at all the different crash sites. Alright, the other thing I want to do is just add another extra bit to this platform. Alright, so I just want a basic setup. We'll have this container feed into the constructor, and then the constructor can just go into this one. And you know what? I think we're just going to steal that one summer sloop that I had. Yep, we're going to take that one. Because up here, with the production amplification unlocked, I can now go through all of my slugs and remains. Now I am a little bit worried because I don't want to severely underclock this. It's just going to take it forever. So what I'm going to do is just set up a real temporary bank of biomass burners over here. Because this container is completely full. So I'm just going to set 4 down for now, and it should be good, I think. Because I know if I leave this at 100%, that 20 is going to become 80. And if I want to make this any faster by putting some of these power shards in there, I definitely don't want it to be on that same power grid. Well, not too shabby. Ended up with 88 power shards. And for right now, those are mainly going to be saved for the miners because I just can't afford to overclock the many machines. And now I'm finally onto the DNA capsules. So good and a bad thing, I have a lot of remains to go through. So this is probably going to take close to an hour. But that's alright because I need to run around and do some more biofarming. It never really ends, does it? Well, first we have to go check on my boy over here. Hey, I'll take some more modular frames. And now it's off to find some more trees. And nuts. Turns out when you can double bow steps, you can get a lot of DNA capsules. That is pretty exciting for me. So what I'm going to do is we're going to plug them all into this storage container. And then from here, those are going to go into a sink. $87 coupons off of just DNA capsules. That is pretty awesome. So now we're just getting rid of all of my extras that I had that I figured this would be a good way of getting rid of. These really aren't worth a whole lot of points. But here I have a container of some extras. On one hand, I could keep some of these around and maybe there's a hard drive that I'd be able to unlock a little bit earlier. But I honestly think that these are all way more valuable to just sink right now. And let's watch this shoot up again. $163. So I might get another one out of all of those, but let's go ahead and just print these for now. Build ourselves a shop. As fun as these are all for later. This right here. Figure I can probably just go through and add everything. Let's see. Can I buy everything that's available to me right now? We can wait on those. Oh, overshot it by just a little bit. I think the easiest group of things that I'm not going to immediately be using would be all the patterns. So if I just delete that whole group. There we go. Sounds good to me. If we look at the smart plating, we've made progress. We're past the halfway mark. I think you know what time it is. It's time to chop down some more trees. And then I'm gonna do some more exploration. Another beautiful day exploring on Massage AVV2. So here we are, right on the edge of the Dune Desert. Got my vehicle somewhere, there it is. And now I'm about to go venture out here and pick up as many things as I can. We take a look at the map, you can kind of see where I've gone. I've taken different routes through here, and then basically go up through this desert. I've explored a bit over here, and on this trip, I went all the way down through the canyon, picked up a couple of those hard drives. Now we're right on the entrance of the Dune Desert. And you can tell I've kind of ignored this area because I kind of like having a jetpack and rifle. So I've basically just been sticking to the starter areas because, well, the enemies are a lot easier to deal with this way. The goal is still basically lots of remains and more hard drives. I want to stock up as many of those as I can. And it's kind of nice to see all the different nodes and where they are. It's so weird. Alright, another hard drive. Oh, sorry, Bean. Oh, I really need to unlock Nobelisks. It's so close. I just can't quite reach it. Guess I'll have to come back. Ooh, free rotors. And reinforced iron plates. And I am stacking up the hard drives. I'm going to continue the search for all the goodies out here in the desert, and I will see you back at the hub. Home sweet home. Let's take a look at the MAM. We've got 23 hard drives that I can't scan. It's pretty nice. I've made my way through most of this. 500's a lot of beams, but soon I'll be able to get one more. For the Caterium tree, I've made a pretty good dent, and I think I can actually, yep, we can unlock this one now. And same with mycelia, gotten through about half of it. Nutrients were all done, power slugs, well, that's not till the very end. And then quartz, made a real good dent on this one. And then hopefully I'll be able to unlock the Nobilis soon. But for right now, not too many extra pipes. Because I've been using them to make sand fluctuators. And this is the one I've been really wanting to unlock because the manual upload when you go explore is just so useful, being able to just throw the extra stacks in there. And I finally collected enough computers. I forgot, I've unlocked them, but I haven't actually uploaded anything. So let's go ahead and just grab a dimensional depot. And we can throw a couple things in there. Ah, there we go. Now it shows up, and now I can manually upload other things. Ah, terrific. It's like some of these things I want to have available, like the motors, when I go hard drive hunting, but I don't really need to carry them around all the time. Alright, so I did a whole bunch more biomass farming once I got back and restocked everything. And I decided to change up the setup one last time. I thought it would be best to just make sure I got the most bang for my buck when I was using them, so I reduced it down to 3 because that's what I have summer sloops for. And instead of them being underclocked down to 25%, these are at 50%. So each one is now producing 2 per minute. And with a couple hundred in here, between this and the 2 per minute that I'm creating over here, I think I'm about 2 hours away from finally finishing this phase. The grassy fields up here are looking pretty bare now. I have chopped down a lot of trees. But that's all I really have to do is just make sure that there's enough biomass in here, and I should be more or less set to go. Besides running around and grabbing even more biomass to make sure this keeps on running, I think I'm going to start to prepare for the next phase. But I guess you'll have to see that in the next video. And in a blink of an eye, we are done. This is a proud pioneer. So it may look like I'm still about 600 short, but in this container right here, I've got more than I need. As fun as it would be to watch them all feed into the space elevator, I'm kind of ready to end this phase. So I'm going to dump them all in here. And there we go. I'm actually very curious to see what this looks like while it's raining. So let's seal it. Okay, that was cool. Now, I actually didn't do anything. I'm wondering if the rain, like, cut out the sound of the space elevator, because normally it's really loud when it does the construction part. But I love the fact that it cleared all the clouds away, and now they're slowly coming back. That is just so cool. I love it. That feels so good to finally have phase 1 done. But man, seeing that 5,000 turned into 100,000,
Phase 1 of assembly completed.
I think phase 2 is going to take a little bit longer. With phase 1 complete, that is going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for joining me on another satisfactory journey. This is probably going to take a while. I know I skipped over a lot in this one, but I can only listen to the tink 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 of manual crafting in-game and then in editing so much. Phase 1 in total took me just under 21 hours to complete. And I'll be honest, seeing that 100,000 space elevator requirement is definitely a gut punch. But hey, I have cool power to look forward to, so that'll make life a lot easier. Look forward to that, and thanks for watching.